The calls for transparency on the Epstein files are growing louder from MAGA supporters like podcaster Joe Rogan. But it doesn't look like any answers are coming anytime soon. Take a look.
These files were made up by Comey. They were made up by Obama. They were made up by the Biden information. We went through years of that with the Russia hoax. But she's handled it very well, and it's going to be up to her. Whatever she thinks is credible, she should release.
The president said today you would release credible files related to Mr. Epstein. Are you prepared to do that, and when would you do that?
Our memo speaks for itself, and we'll get back to you on anything else.
They've got videotape, and all of a sudden they don't. You know, you have the director of the FBI on the show saying there's no if there was, nothing you're looking for is on those tapes. Like, what? Why did they say there was thousands of hours of tapes of people doing horrible? Why did they say that?
Right.
Didn't Pam Bondi say that?
Well, he's not the only supporter questioning Pam Bondi. Speaker Mike Johnson just called for the release of all the files, too. But is blaming Obama and Biden going to work this time? Because, quite frankly, all you have to do is look at anything from the time, and you'll see who was president.
Well, the thing about it is that I've been watching it, and he keeps protesting. There's no list, there's no list, then there's a list, there's no list. It's like the lady doth protesteth too much.
Yeah.
If I kept saying that I never dyed my hair is natural, you would believe the opposite, right?
Right.
That's what he's doing. I'm innocent, I did nothing. A lot of what he's saying. And that makes me suspicious. That's all I'm saying. Whether he's on it or he's not on it, I'm just suspicious.
Well, I don't like the fact that they just keep throwing it out there and they have nothing to back it up. And when somebody says, hey, you're not wearing any clothes, Emperor, they go, oh, yes, I'm fully dressed.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely fully dressed. You didn't see that? Well, Obama snatched my clothes early.
But the latest thing is that he's calling the MAGAs weaklings because they are turning on him.
Yeah. He calls them dumb, too.
This is a guy who got out of the army because of bone spurs, and he's calling them weaklings.
Yeah.
So, and they're not going to like that. They're not going to like that.
Well, I think that's what's been fascinating to me because his base was unshakable and unfazed.
Yeah.
Remember, he said, I could stand on Fifth Avenue and shoot someone, and I'll still have this support. So they were unfazed by the fact that he was found guilty of 34 counts of fraud. They were unfazed by the January 6th riots. They were unfazed when he was found liable of sexual abuse. They were unfazed by his 2 impeachments. They were seemingly unfazed by masked men disappearing people off the streets and sending U.S. citizens out of the country. All of that unfazed them. But this Jeffrey Epstein thing, man, it's got them in a bunch. And so I think he's a bit surprised by that, which is why he's pulling out this old playbook, Russia hoax, and it's a hoax, and it's Biden, and it's Obama, which is crazy because Obama was president last time I remember it was like 15 years ago or something like that. So
didn't they like it at that point because he was going to use it against Democrats?
Well, Trump was the one that kept on fanning the flames, and now this is the one thing that seems to be sticking. My thing is, listen, Pam Bondi is a separate branch from the executive branch, right? She's Department of Justice. The two aren't really supposed to be in cahoots with each other. We saw that with Comey and we saw that with Garland. They're separate and apart from the executive branch. But what can happen is that Ghislaine Maxwell, she's in prison.
Yeah.
And she's reportedly willing to testify.
She better be careful.
Let her testify about what, if there's a list, if there isn't a list, I think there should be an investigation because people seem to want to know what's happening.
Yeah.
Well, there's been this disconnect where Donald Trump does not talk about Jeffrey Epstein much at all. He only actually, if you look up when he's talked about him, it's usually in response to a question. So of all the conspiracies he at times dabbled, dipped his toes into, swam headfirst into, Epstein was not one of them. But a lot of people around him, including his own vice president, built big followings with the base and kind of made themselves stars within the base and rose their profiles by saying, we're going to get to the bottom of this. Some of them even said the former FBI director has this information. But now they're all in government and can have access to it, and they're suddenly singing a completely different tune. And the reason I don't think this is going to go away is, like, listen, the mainstream media is going to have other stories. There's, God forbid, going to be natural disasters, the things that that happen in the course of life that we have to cover. But there are these kind of so-called manosphere podcasters who played such a huge role in Donald Trump getting elected. Joe Rogan, Andrew Schultz, Theo Von, who have tens of millions of listeners who are not letting this go. Every one of them has said that they feel betrayed around the issue of Epstein. Andrew Schultz actually rattled off a bunch of issues that he voted for Trump on and said every one of those that he's flipped on. And this is where he was able to pull votes that I think people didn't necessarily expect he was going to. It was these low propensity, younger, largely male voters who hadn't necessarily voted in previous elections, but they looked up to these guys and they listened. And these people are saying, do not fall for it. They're doing exactly what we say politicians and people in power do. The one caution I'd give is this, though. I don't think Dems should take this necessarily as a victory lap, because just because support might be leaving Trump on this, it doesn't mean it's coming over to the Democrats' side on the issue. They have to figure out what to run on beyond.
Are even thinking
no,
about
but I
that.
think them sticking together, the elected ones, to maybe try to get an investigation, I think is smart, because they're getting Republicans breaking with Donald Trump right now. But you were speaking about the podcasters, and what I find interesting is I don't blame like audience listeners or viewers of Fox. I tend to go for the people that are spewing the information. I find it so funny that it's taken Theo Von, Andrew Schultz, Joe Rogan this long to be shocked, because the things they're saying he did wrong, though, from immigration, he ran on everything he's doing. He talked about mass deportations. Not a shocker if you're using your brain. Same thing with the economy. He talked about tariffs. If you didn't understand what that meant, you know, my heart goes out. I really don't wish hardship on them, but you're pretending now he flip-flopped. The no foreign wars. He did flip-flop a little on Ukraine and Russia, but he essentially broadcast everything he was going to do. So to sit back now and say, you know, he really disappointed me. Like, maybe that should have started before you used your massive platform to recruit a whole nation of voters to vote for him.
Something they did not. I don't think anybody voted for this, but the demand for answers on Epstein was supposed to be in the name of protecting children.
Right.
Right? Okay. So this investigation from The Atlantic should enrage them as well. They are reporting that the administration is set to incinerate 500 metric tons of food that was supposed to be sent overseas. That's enough to feed 1.5 million starving children. Now, you should ask yourself, why? Was cruelty the point? Was Elon just trying to, you know, skinny up the government, or were they just being bastards?
Well, they have to destroy. They have to destroy this food because they gutted U.S. aid, and so they have no system of disseminating food to children. I don't think that this is something that voters voted for.
And if you care about the debt, cutting USAID did absolutely nothing to address our debt and deficits.
Yeah.
No, and then they signed a big bill that just raised it
added
instead.
to it.
So I don't understand. I don't understand, because, as you say, they did this, what, months ago?
Yeah.
Like in February, March, say. So from February, March to now, you had all that food sitting there. You gonna get rid of the program? Okay. Send the food out.
But they fired workers who could. I had a girlfriend who worked for USAID in India, and she was recalled months ago. So you also need to have people in the home countries with jobs to distribute
But
food.
remember, all the folks, if they had sent the food out, the people could have distributed it. Distributed it.
Right.
You know, they could have done something. Getting rid of food,
Just burning it.
just destroying it for no good reason other than you're a bonehead. This is
It feels criminal.
This
It feels
is
criminal. It's like a crime
criminal,
against
it's
humanity.
mean, and I do say, if this had happened in some other country, America would have been all over that country.
Or if
So
it
I hope
happened under
people-
Biden.
Or if it happened under any, you know, but any other country doing wasteful like this, when it could be put to better use, we'd be all over.
Food is a human right.
Human
Healthcare is a
right.
human right. Shelter,
So-
human right.
Guys, if Epstein is bothering you, I hope this is going to piss you off as well.